In the grand lore of NBA history, there are names that resonate with universal acclaim. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant. And then there's Andrew Toney, the quiet storm who torched the Boston Celtics so viciously in the 1980s that they dubbed him the Boston Strangler. With a net worth estimated at $10 million as of May 2025, Andrew Toney's story isn't one of sustained superstardom, but of blazing brilliance, cruelly cut short. Despite an NBA career that lasted just 8 seasons, Toney earned the respect of legends and carved a niche in basketball history. But beyond the court, he transformed into an educator, mentor, and family man, living proof that greatness isn't just measured in championships or shoe deals. Early life, humble beginnings in Birmingham. Born November 23, 1957 in Birmingham, Alabama, Andrew Toney was raised in a close-knit, hardworking family. His father, Earnest James Toney, was a steelworker, while his mother, Maxine Toney, was a homemaker with a steady presence and quiet strength. Andrew grew up alongside 3 siblings, where competition, chores, and character building were all part of daily life. Toney attended Charles B. Glenn High School, where his athletic talent began to shine. He averaged an astronomical 37 points per game during his senior year, and once dropped 68 points in a regional tournament, an early preview of the scoring genius he would later unleash on the NBA. Perhaps even more impressive was Toney's leadership in the locker room. At a time when racial tensions were still palpable, he stood in solidarity with his teammate, Sandra Murray, the first girl to play on an all-boys team at Glenn. His support for Murray, despite criticism, revealed a depth of character that extended far beyond the hardwood. College career, dominance as a raging Cajun. After high school, Toney took his talents to the University of Southwestern Louisiana, now the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, where he played from 1976 to 1980. There, he blossomed into one of the most feared scorers in college basketball. He averaged 23.6 points per game over his collegiate career, leading the team to the Southland Conference Championship and deep runs in the National Invitation Tournament. Azure Nighty, his silky jumper, creative footwork, and ice-cold demeanor made him unstoppable. By the time he graduated, he had scored 2,426 career points, ranking him 13th in NCAA history at that time. NBA scouts took notice. One even called him the purest scorer in the country. In the 1980 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers selected him 8th overall, a move that would prove critical in their journey toward an NBA championship. Professional career. The rise and fall of a Philly legend. Toney's impact on the 76ers was immediate and electric. Teaming up with Julius, Dr. J. Irving, Moses Malone, and Maurice Cheeks, he became the go-to scorer when the lights were brightest. He was named an NBA All-Star in 1983 and 1984. But what truly etched his name into history were his legendary performances against the Boston Celtics. In the 1982 Eastern Conference Finals, Toney averaged 26.4 points per game and delivered knockout punches that devastated Boston fans and delighted Philly faithful. He scored 34 points in Game 7 at Boston Garden, silencing the hostile crowd and earning that unforgettable nickname, the Boston Strangler. Larry Bird once said, Andrew Toney was the only player I feared. And that's no exaggeration. He had a lethal mid-range jumper, explosive first step, and unshakable confidence. Many believe that had injuries not intervened, he would be a Hall of Famer. Tragically, chronic stress fractures in both feet began to derail his career in the mid-1980s. Despite Toney's pleas for proper diagnosis, the 76ers were skeptical, a betrayal that deepened the wounds. After years of frustration and pain, he retired in 1988, his prime years stolen by mismanaged injuries. Personal life, faith, family, and reinvention. Off the court, Andrew Toney is as grounded and humble as he was intense and focused on it. He is a Christian whose faith helped him navigate the trauma of his premature retirement and the lingering resentment toward the Sixers front office. Toney married his longtime sweetheart, Karen Toney, in the early 1980s. Together, they raised 3 children, including Channing Toney, who went on to play NCAA basketball for UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham, and later in Europe. Rather than chase coaching glory or ESPN airtime, Toney chose a more grounded path. He became a school teacher and later served as an instructional coach and mentor for young men in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Through initiatives like Project Reconnect, he helped young people, especially those from marginalized communities, find purpose, discipline, and a love for learning. He rarely grants interviews and shuns the limelight, yet his impact in the classroom and on the court has been profound and enduring. House tour and car collection. Quiet luxury. Andrew Toney lives in a quiet neighborhood in suburban Georgia, far from the chaos of celebrity culture. His home reflects his personality, elegant but unpretentious. With brick detailing, large bay windows, and a lush backyard garden, it's a comfortable haven that whispers success rather than shouts it. Inside, you'll find memorabilia from his playing days, jerseys, autographed balls, newspaper clippings, but no shrine. Toney has always been a man of the present, not someone stuck in his past. As for his car collection, Toney owns a couple of vehicles, including a classic black Cadillac and a more practical Toyota SUV. He never got caught up in the exotic car craze. To him, a good car gets you where you're going, just like a good jumper does on the court. As of today, Andrew Toney is alive, well, and active in educational circles in Georgia. At 67 years old, he remains mentally sharp, physically active, and spiritually fulfilled. Though he avoids the basketball spotlight, those close to him know that his competitive fire still flickers, mostly during family board games or pickup, horse matches at the local gym. Andrew Toney's story isn't about a decade-long dynasty or statistical dominance. It's about moments. Those few years where he was arguably the best big game scorer in the NBA. It's about character, resilience, and the ability to rise from betrayal and physical pain to find purpose beyond fame. He once brought Celtics fans to their knees. Today, he lifts young students to their feet. Toney never got his Hall of Fame induction or a statue outside the Wells Fargo Center, but to those who know the game and those whose lives he's touched since retiring, Andrew Toney will always be more than just a player. He's a legend who burned bright, fell hard, and rose again, not on a court, but in a classroom, And that might just be his greatest win of all.